Yeah, it was a great discussion before
good.
doing this.
It really was, man.
Dude, David, Mckinzie.
Yes, sir.
Bro.
Let's go.
Thank you for being here.
I'm excited, man.
Oh, man, I'm stoked, dude.
This is long overdue.
It really is. I've seen you around. We've talked in certain locations for brief moments. We just talked for an hour before doing this.
I know.
And really got on the same page, man.
Dude,
I love what you're doing.
I appreciate it, man. I think honestly, dude, it's like when you connect with the inner being, when you see that, it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long at all.
It doesn't, man. We talked a lot about essentially patience, perspective, being perceptive, having discernment,
Absolutely.
following, your path with faith, essentially. And when people show up in a genuine sense, you can really connect on a much deeper level in a much smoother way.
Absolutely, man. No, I agree. And I think, honestly, dude, it comes to a point where we talked about patience and perseverance and entrepreneurship and in your goals and a lot of the setbacks that, I might have had, but have overcome that by pure just saying, hey, look, I know what I'm worth. I know what the man above is telling me. And number two, I feel that if I persevere, I will overcome. So that was the base of our conversation, man, outside, was just saying, hey, look, we've been through ups and downs, okay, but you never should waste a failure. A lot of people have failure and they say, okay, good, this sucks, I'm out. I think Nick Saban, he's the head coach at Alabama, he said, hey, never waste a failure. When you fail, you learn in your setbacks. You learn in that. You gain wisdom, and then you keep going, you keep pushing forward. So I think when you learn in your failure, that humbles you, which also creates some patience in you to persevere through your next objective.
Yeah, strength to endure, the ability to be knocked around, but the learning of how to heal.
Absolutely, man.
You know what I mean?
Come on, bro.
Dude.
Come on, man.
Thank you for showing up.
Dude, absolutely.
In physical form, but also on your path. And thank you for being genuine. And thank you for being okay talking about the vulnerable stuff, man.
You got to, man.
And being real. Like, it speaks so much volume, dude. Not just for ourselves, but for the people that we can build a relationship with. Like, this podcast, man, I had no idea how much being vulnerable would influence other people in such a deep way, where we receive messages that genuinely blow me away.
Well, you know what, dude? I think to go deeper with this, I mean, you see a lot of people who have become very successful in this world by being vulnerable, okay? Number one example is Oprah. Oprah built a huge platform of being vulnerable, talking about her story, being sexually abused when she was younger, and her story of, for a little bit trying to find her path, being an African-American woman. People gravitated to that, to be even more specific, billions gravitated towards that. And even the movement that's going on right now with Kanye West, I think, some people might have certain judgments about this guy, but I'm not questioning anybody's salvation, and at the end of the day, if he's feeling vulnerable and he's out and he's talking to Joel Osteen's church and all that, you know what? The guy's found the light in something. So how come we can't support this guy? He's taken the Kanye aspect of being cocky and arrogant, but he's doing it for a meaning. He's doing it for souls. So it's like, hey, you do you, man. I'm not going to judge, but people are gravitating towards that because why? He's being vulnerable about something. So, and I think even with you, man, I'm glad I get to be on this podcast because I've seen the people on this podcast in the past talking about being vulnerable, talking about the things they went through, talking about how they overcame that. And people relate with that because every talented person that we look at, man, out there, there's a foundation that got them there. There's something that they worked off of. There's something that happened in their past that kept them going. So being vulnerable is huge.
I feel like it makes our human path more realistic and relatable. So you just had a great seed to plant for a discussion right here. We see all of these famous actors or people that have made it, but it almost feels like an illusion on how they got there. It's like they're this untouchable machine. But if they were to share what's going on while they were going through it, it's like, oh, like I can do that. Like I can go through the hard stuff because that's actually what the path is. And there's an amazing time period right now where we can share what we're going through while we're going through it, man.
Wow,
it's
dude.
an amazing era.
Wow.
And reach, millions of people essentially, and show like these people who have these platforms or have had a successful career or journey in something that you want to do. That doesn't come without a little bit of struggle. It's not this illusion of a perfect path and then they made it overnight.
Come on, bro.
It doesn't exist, bro.
It doesn't, man. It doesn't.
Even if you're born into money, that doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
It doesn't, man. It really doesn't. And you know what? It's like with social media being kind of like the center of everything now, that's a great point. You do get to share, what you're doing through that journey, because sometimes, they say social media can raise depression for others because people are posting the best things that they did that day, right? But I think what's the movement that's coming even more is instead of me trying to, post, oh my God, like even though I had a bad day, I'm gonna act like I had a great day on social media. How about flipping that and saying, hey, look, I went through this today. God was showing me this today. But you know what? I'm believing and I'm receiving that something big's on the horizon. I believe that bigger doors are opening. Now people are catching that attention, and that's using your platform in a more effective way. And I think social media, it's a positive and a negative to it, but if you can use it from that approach, which is what you're doing, which is what I highly respect, people gravitate towards that because it's like, you know what? There's something authentic about that. There's something underlying that connects with my heart, that connects with my soul when I watch this guy, when I listen to this podcast. So I think if we can gravitate, especially in the millennial area, I think if we can gravitate of being more vulnerable, and I'm not saying posting everything, saying, oh my God, it's terrible. I can't know it. I'm not saying that, but saying, hey, look, I had a couple setbacks today, but you know what? I also had a great day in prayer. I had a great day in meditation today. I got some great revelations today. I got some great clarity on what my next step is going to be. So you know what? Even though I had setbacks today, everything's going to be all right. So yeah, I mean, that's all. I mean, for sure, yeah, definitely through social media, bro.
Well, it's so new, man.
I know.
We're learning how to even be humans on this kind of platform and what to share. And it's so I don't know if I believe anything is good or bad because people sharing all the stuff that has caused depression is potentially a very good thing to show us what we shouldn't share and how we shouldn't share.
Right.
It's kind of coasting us into like, maybe we can really use this stuff for good.
Right.
And really develop a community over the freaking planet, man.
Right.
In a second.
Come on, bro.
Where thousands of people are seeing what's up.
Right.
And we talked about this a little bit, but I wonder if people can intuitively feel the intention of what's happening. So here, like you said, you like the vibes when you walked in, like our genuine purpose and intention of this room is to help people feel welcome when they come here and to be genuine in discussion. And I believe people feel that. And let's say like I had you in here because I wanted to get something from you, bro. How would I be behaving in this discussion? Would my words be different? Is there a different frequency that would align with that kind of path, man? This is like where that discernment comes in that we were talking about earlier.
Come on, man.
Like paying attention to what's going on without judgment.
Without judgment.
Just
without
perceiving,
judgment.
dude.
Come on. That's so good, bro. That's so good. Now, I want to ask, though, how would you tell somebody, how would one, if they have these great visions, they have these great goals, they're talented individuals, and they're getting these revelations, but they don't see anything manifested yet. How does one channel that into productive action instead of being overly ambitious and taking the wrong steps left and right, taking the wrong partnerships, taking the wrong, we talked about this before we got on, not everything is meant for us. Not everything is meant for us to go on that path and that route. So I think it's cool that we're talking about being vulnerable, but the people out there who are super talented, super gifted, doing great things. They have these revelations and ambitions, but they almost kind of like they want it now. How can you transcend and shape that into a productive path to success? I think that's where a lot of people get lost. And it's even tough for me too.
Whew, all right, bro. We are 10 minutes in. No, that's what's up. I think a big part of my response earlier would be learning how to be perceptive. And when we are perceptive, we can potentially perceive what fits, what aligns, and what doesn't align. When we're very patient in that process, we can kind of see what aligns with our intention. Goes back to that, man.
That's so good.
Is our intention to make a lot of money? Is it to be famous? Is it to get chicks? Or is it to like build something that is for the betterment of other people?
Come on, man.
And when you really resonate with that through prayer, through meditation, through deep, like energetically setting yourself in alignment with something, you can feel what resonates with that path and what doesn't. What's in harmony with that.
Right.
And that's what I really feel like is our internal compass of alignment. And we can help use that part of ourselves to navigate through planet and through discussion and behave from that place, dude.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I could see when I greet somebody or when I say something, it's out of alignment with that.
Right.
And it's like, damn, okay, that maybe that was too egoic, maybe too head heavy. Maybe that was coming from a part of myself that wants success right now.
Right.
And just kind of using those as bumpers to feel like what should have been said in a sense.
Right.
And moving on from there.
And you know what? That's that's so good. And you know what you said right there, going off of that inner man and what that's telling you and working from that place. But see, to go deeper with that, if you tell somebody that, you then have to tell them you're not going to be going from that inner man if you're around a lot of distraction. You have to be in tuned, as we both know, that I need some time to myself each day. You need some time to yourself each day to connect with that inner man, to say, you know what? This deal has a lot of money on the table, but something inside me is telling me to not go this route, you know? And you're not going to get that by saying, hey, I'm not saying it's bad to do this, but you know, you're going out with friends and you're doing it every single night and you're going to bed late and you're not having any clarity there. It's a lot of noise. It's a lot of clutter. But if you clear out that clutter, connect with that inner man at least 2 to 3 times a day, I guarantee you, and we can both agree on this, I guarantee you, you're going to know your discernment's going to grow, your wisdom's going to grow, but also you're going to say, with certain situations, you know what, I'm going to pass, or maybe give me a couple weeks and I'll get back to you. So eliminating the clutter within finding that true clarity with that inner man.
Dude, so on point. That's internal strength, man.
Come on.
That's comfort in your path. Bro, this just dates right back. For real.
Right.
You know, this is comfort in our own journeys and not trying to live someone else's journey, not trying to run someone else's route on the same football play.
Come on, bro.
For real, man. How do we align with where we are, who we are, and our own foundation and breathe where we are, bro?
Come on, man.
We're both in this room with 2 completely different perspectives. You're on that side of the table. I'm on this side of the table.
Right.
We're sharing something, but from completely different perspectives.
Come on, man. But seeing how that aligns, like you said, without judgment. Without judgment. And I think too, connecting with that inner man, when you said that inner strength, it's also knowing, oh, here we go. It's also knowing when you connect with that inner man, you also get deeper revelations about the stuff that you struggle with personally and the stuff that you have strengths on personally. I read a book called The Rhythm of Life by Matthew Kelly. It's so good. And it talks about success comes from you thriving and being physical, emotional, spiritual, and intellectual. If you thrive in those areas, everything else will take care of itself. It's the internal. that will then translate to the external. But when you are in tune with your inner self, he has a story in there. He talks about, I don't know who painted the Last Supper painting. I think it was Michelangelo or Da Vinci, one of the two. But basically, his story gave me chills in the books, but basically, he was looking for models to play the disciples and Jesus, and he had everybody. He even had Jesus. He found a great guy. Only person he didn't have in the painting was Judas. He looked for Judas for years. He couldn't find a guy who resembled Judas. So after 10 years, he goes to a prison, finds a guy who looks like Judas, brings him to his studio. He's painting him, and while he's painting Judas, the guy who's playing Judas is crying. And Da Vinci or Michelangelo goes, "Why are you crying? Like, what's going on?" And the guy sitting there playing Judas said, "I was here 10 years ago posing for Jesus. And now I'm posing for Judas." And the deep revelation with that is that there's a Jesus and Judas in all of us. And if we're not connected with our inner man and ourself every day, we won't highlight that. You have things inside you that you have to work on. I have things inside me that I have to work on that we have to know, hey, man, I'm not going to go there because David struggles with that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do this because you know what? I've had past times where I have not been focused in these areas, right? So I'm sorry I had to spring that on you, but we're talking about the inner man. Dude, right?
That gave me chills. Wow. To add to all of this, you asked, like, how does somebody kind of follow that path when they're having revelations?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, man, seeds take 10 years to plant.
Dude.
And grow. I've experienced the blossoming of seeds from 7-8 years ago, just recently. And knowing that. And when we follow our journey and those things happen, it's just like, without a doubt, we're going to continue the journey.
Come on, man.
But until those moments hold deep recognition in who we are, it's hard to keep moving.
Come on, bro.
Just know, if you're aligned with what feels proper, man, or woman, you're probably moving in the right direction.
Right.
And it's so powerful.
It is, man. It really, really is. It's so powerful. And also it really helps, you know, I really struggle with, man, because I'm a guy where if you tell me, hey, Dave, we got this idea, we're going to do this thing, I'm like, okay, let's go. Like, let's get the thing rolling. I'll call the event place. We're ready to roll. I'm that guy. Okay. I've always been. So it's hard when you have that natural mover and shaker trait of like, well, let's get it done today. Let's go. Why are we waiting? To say, hey, man, it's going to be a process somewhat. And to connect with your inner self, to take that, because that drive is a good thing. It's a good thing to have that drive. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to have that. But I think the greatest ones in this world, the Tony Robbins, the Steve Jobs, they know how to take that drive and to implement it and to gear it into productive but patient and persevering action. Instead of saying, oh, hell, I'm going crazy and all that. I want to get it done, and it's not effective. You know, and I think a good example of persevering is Steve Jobs got fired, dude. Guy got fired from Apple, man, and literally got fired, and for 4 years worked somewhere else. For 4 years. Anybody else would have said, you know what, I'm out. I'm never going back to Apple. What is he doing? He's building up another business, and he's also probably creating and plotting the next, and 4 years later, he changes the course of technology. Now, what if somebody else would have sulked about those 4 years and said, you know what, this sucks. They don't like me. This is terrible. No, not the great ones. You know what? I still feel like I can help Apple. I still feel like I can do something there. And him having that trait to say, I still feel like I can do that. We all have the phone now.
Yeah, no joke.
It's incredible, bro.
That's an amazing example.
It's crazy, man. And yeah.
To have that deep level of discernment and to hear an idea and to either pounce on it or be patient with it, I wonder if wisdom, like pure wisdom, is being able to consider more and more information when choosing what to do. So if you're just immaturely reacting to something probably have 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of information to go off of.
Mm-hmm.
But wisdom, it seems to be like you're in consideration of potentially 40 or more pieces of lessons and knowledge and ways to behave.
Dude, that's actually a very good question. Dude. See, we started this day already coming into this conversation, bro. This has been amazing. Okay, well, I'm gonna throw one back to you then. With the wisdom though, is wisdom developed, or is wisdom, or would that come from experience or exposure? You know, because sometimes I always say sometimes you can learn through revelation instead of tribulation, which gains wisdom. So like, I can see somebody walk through that door, get their arm chopped off, and I can from afar say, I'm not going through there. And I can say that door goes this miles per hour, 4 people did it, I'm gaining wisdom from that. But then I can also get my arm chopped off and be like, that's a different level of wisdom. I mean, I don't, you know? So.
Okay, we're throwing some curveballs in this because is a lesson learned wisdom.
Yeah.
So that's a recognition of like, I don't want to touch the stove, but is that wisdom? Or is the wisdom the depth in that recognition when you can meditate and reflect on that? Like, okay, like what were the things that prevented me, or what provoked me to touch that? What'd that feel like? Is that the wisdom?
Right.
So is that the depth beneath the soil?
It's probably, I mean, honestly, I would just say, top of my head, they're both wisdom.
And I think they come from the experience, from all of it, dude. All of it builds the wisdom, the environment, exposure, everything. And especially experience. If you integrate it well.
True.
You know, because we talked earlier, I was actually just going to bring this up. The aspect of having these peaks in energy and these ideas where it's like, oh, this is going to be it. And then, oh, okay. Oh, this one. And then boom. And you get this like, it's almost like a heartbeat when you're in a panic mode. It's like there's these crazy up and downs, but when you can like get that thing steady fast, right? And just compose and calm, like that's wisdom through experience.
Man, come on, bro. That's good. Yeah, no, you brought that back home. That's true, because we were talking about off camera. As entrepreneurs, you go through so much, and through that process, there's so many. Anybody who's an entrepreneur can connect with this, but there's so many times in your journey where you feel like this is it. This is the thing that's going to take me to the next level, and to have that feeling several times, and for it to not take you to the next level, but you had to make another pivot, really does do something into you internally, which over time creates wisdom, and which over time creates a leveling patience and a calmness and maturity, even in your greatest victories. And it's almost preparing you. I brought up, it's almost preparing you, like when you see these successful people, you know, do great things, and they're just so calm. You know, I always watch these, you know, music shows, and I'm watching, you know, maybe an artist perform or a person sing, and I'm like, man, this is amazing. I'm really getting chills watching them. But I see, like, you know, these top stars in the audience, and everybody's just kind of like relaxing, and I'm like, why are they relaxing? What do you mean? This is Mariah Carey, you know? But going through my own process, I can tell that it's not that they're not liking that person. It's just they have a leveling mentality. You know, they don't get too high. They don't get too low. They've seen a lot, okay? They've seen a lot. They've done a lot. They've seen a lot of great artists. They've been out on a lot of big stages. They know how to keep themselves here. And I think I want to get to that point as well of just keeping myself here. Like you told me off camera, just, you know, just breathing in the moment, receiving the moment, discerning the moment, you know? Yeah.
Perhaps the people with great experience in the audience with your example are feeling deep appreciation. What if that's part of that, like groundedness?
Right.
Is deep appreciation. and compassion if it's in for a different scenario. These are different kinds of emotions that like seem to hold a really beautiful ground.
Right.
But also move a lot of energy.
Dude, come on. Bro. Move a lot of energy. And, you know, I'm even going to go deeper with this, bro. I think, and we can both relate to this, but I'm very fascinated by highly successful, entrepreneurs or highly successful coaches or highly successful cultures who have been doing it for a long time. Because any of us, me or you, could build a company up and make it successful, right? But the great ones, the Bill Belichick's, Patriots, the Tony Robbins, all those, they maintain it for years, dude. And I've asked so many of my mentors, is it harder to grow something to $1 billion? Or is it harder to maintain it? And this goes back to our foundation question, bro, of when you have a leveling mentality, you then can handle all the pats. Because once you made it, you have all the pats on the back. How are you staying motivated? That's what I'm thinking. How are you staying motivated now? How are you going to how is Bill Belichick still motivating Tom Brady? And they've already won like 7 Super Bowls, dude. You know what I mean? It's like it takes that leveling in yourself.
Oh, man.
We're getting deep here, man.
That's so good.
You know what I mean?
It's so good. What if that goes back into intention? Is it to get those pats on the back? Is that why you're doing it? If that's your end goal.
Oh, that's so good.
Dude, if that's your end goal, then you're going to be satisfied when you get there. And you're not going to know where to go.
Wow.
Or is it to build something that holds deep value?
Dude.
That's ongoing.
Dude, whoa.
That's powerful.
Your point with intention, dude, just hit me like now. Like I heard it earlier.
Yeah.
But then when you just said that then.
It's bizarre.
Damn.
It's like the direction, it's the path
Damn.
of trajectory and what's in line with that. Like, for example, the goal is not to be on the Joe Rogan podcast. That's just part of the path. Like, there's a very different way to approach your journey. And if that's part of the path and it's like, dope, that happened, now let's keep moving forward.
Right.
Or let's keep doing what we do because this is why we do it.
Right.
It's the right thing to do, etc. And perhaps that's why the people with deep maturity can keep moving forward, bro. Wow. They have a very broad vision.
And it almost makes you respect them more because, wow, dude, that's so good, bro. Because I heard your intention comment, but then when you put it into this aspect of, well, what's keeping them successful for 20 years? How's Bill Belichick still do? Well, he has a different intention. His motive is, his only goal is not to say, oh, to be the highest paid coach and to win a Super Bowl. Super Bowl is one of them, goals. But he has probably so many other things of, how can I develop these guys? How can I make these guys men? And it's almost like you see these programs like Dabo Swinney at Clemson where they win, they don't re-recruit, they just reload. Wow. Everybody in that culture is in tune. It doesn't matter if you're a freshman or a junior. Well, we won the championship last year. That means we have to rebuild, right? No. You're all in it right now together. If he goes down, you got it. This is what we do. And don't get me wrong, it takes a while to build that. You can't build that in a year. Can't build that. All these guys I'm talking about, they're seasoned guys. They're over 50 years old. They've done this for a long time. They've had failures. But now, Bill Belichick, his first coaching job, he failed miserably. But now he learned. But then their intention, though, probably they learned. Okay, here we go. They probably learned that intention even deeper in that failure.
100%, dude. For real. For real. That's how it works. It's continual refinement of your intention. When things are good, when things are bad. For real, bro. That is so powerful and so deep to recognize. Wow.
They learned that. That's where they got it. Because probably before then, not saying that they didn't have it, not saying that Tony Robbins or not saying that Zuckerberg or Bezos didn't have it, but it was something in that failure that made them get the deeper intention of saying, okay, hold up. What am I really doing this for? Because even in small things in your life, bro, I've heard small examples where people, they took the other decision because it was just the right motive thing to do and it ended up working out for him. Even a small example, I remember my friend, he was at a Notre Dame game. All his friends were pre-game and they were all drinking and stuff. And he wanted to go, but his brother got really sick. And he was like, oh, man, I really want to go. But he was like, you know what? I can't. My brother's sick. You guys can go to the box seats game. It's all fine. I'll just miss it. He took the motive, I got to take care of my brother. But somehow or another, he took his brother back. One of his friends ended up coming to pick him up, and he still ended up being in the box seats with his friends and having fun. And my example with that is that he took the right motive, and it still worked out for him.
Dang.
It's like internally, if we can continue to push forward on the motive of why am I doing this? And if I take that lane, then it's all going to work out for me. Even though outside in the world, and it's hard with social media, but look what she's doing. Look what he's doing. Yeah, that's great, but what am I doing?
Dude, this is really good.
It, it really
to
is.
To be completely honest,
yeah,
this is very powerful.
It's kingdom talk, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Something also that we touched base on earlier is when we, dude, this goes right back into like the continual refinement of intention is building discernment in terms of if I work with this person in a business transaction that I kind of feel it doesn't feel good, but I'm going to do it anyways, and then it goes south, we have this pattern of thought that blossoms. It's like, dang, I wish I didn't do that. What am I doing? Like, do I even know what I'm doing?
Right.
Instead of following your intuition and being like, I'm going to do this because it feels right. If it works, awesome. If it doesn't, awesome.
Right.
There's a deeper knowing there. So I've dealt with this podcast. I believe deeply me being able to be genuine and allowing it to be as it should be has been so profoundly helpful for my own internal health. Because if I was trying to be a certain way, if somebody critiqued it, I'd be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I'm not doing it right. There's this insecurity and instability there that if we truly ground in path, those things, they ricochet, dude.
Right,
they don't matter.
Right.
They bounce off of our shield, off of our armor.
Right.
And we learn that through the process of going through the journey, man.
God, dude. God. Oh my gosh, man. No, you do. And you learn that, bro, but also too, you kind of it builds an internal muscle too. Because I think when we touched on out there about that, we also touched on, the true motive also can go to, are you doing this? Because here's another thing. People can work hard and be successful for a long time, and they're doing it off pure anger. They're doing it off purely like, look, when I was 17, this girl didn't talk to me. I never got looked up on the team. I got cut. In college, I never was anybody. Now I'm something. That, bro, can drive you till you're 70. Okay? Is it the best thing? No. So that's another thing that's not good to have because you'll never be satisfied either. If you have a positive motive of saying, hey, look, you know what? I'm going to take the anger I have from that, put it into productive action, but I'm still have a meaning for something greater, something higher. That's okay. But taking that other action, that mean trait, because I know people, and even myself had it, hey, I want to prove, I want to show this, right? That's not a bad motive to have, but people need to really be careful with that because that's a motive to where when you're 45 and you're worth over 300 million, you're still thinking, oh, well, I'm going to show these billionaires I can be this. I'm going to show these other guys I can do that. It's never going to end. Now, this is a good question. Is it bad that he's still going to be motivated? No.
That's so fascinating.
Is it bad that he's still going to be motivated? No. But is it bad that he's going off of that? Off of that motive?
Dude, I think that's one of the most complex questions that we can ask ourselves as people. And it feels like continually dissolving the energy that produces potential harm. And we do that through intention. We do that through understanding, being patient and perceptive before responding, not reacting, responding.
Right.
If I can breathe and dissolve some of that anger, some of that something before I move forward with a choice, that you do that 4,000 times in the next few years, bro, you know how much better of a path you're going to be on? Those little switches, dude, change the complete trajectory of your entire world.
Right.
Now, if you were angry, bro, I believe our deep knowing would feel that. Whether or not we're aligned with it, there's something deeper internally that's like, something just feels off.
Right.
Right? There's this aspect of our deep subconscious evolutionary behavior
Come on.
and connection to divine spirit that is just in a knowing. And that's where people feel if you're being real, bro. God. They feel if you're anxious. They feel if you have potentially poor intentions. Like, dude, women are so freaking intuitive, man.
Very.
Right?
Very.
And it's because of survival mechanisms.
Very true.
Because men can come up to them and they're like, whoa, this dude feels weird. What are they picking up on?
Dude,
man?
what are they feeling? They're already noticing something about the guy.
For real.
Yeah.
It's the way he moves. It's how he's breathing. Like, there's real stuff that happens.
Right,
it's
man.
deep body language.
It's deep body language, and they feel that, and they know that, and they see that. And if all of us would follow that inner man, and all of us would feel that and get that, we would be on our correct path. Some girl asked me the other day, she said, what would be your platform that you would want to create? I said, I would want to create a platform that everybody can follow faith and follow their inner selves to follow their true purpose. She goes, but what about a social platform? What about, solving issues? And I go, if I got everybody in America, in the world, to follow their true purpose in their hearts, there would be no social issues, because there would be somebody in California who has a thing on her heart to do something in the Dominican Republic. She has it on her heart right now, but she's working somewhere else. If she followed that inner self, she would alleviate those social issues in Dominican Republic. If that random guy in Maine who has a thing of saying, you know what, I feel something with ministry in UK, if he followed that, he would alleviate the issues in UK. And that's my goal. All through the things I do with hosting and emceeing and my business and brand and being a face and media personality, I want to do all of that to make a very vast platform so the man above can pour into me, so I can tell others, hey, what is your thing that you're feeling that the inner man's telling you? Go follow that. And I'm not saying quit your job. Hey, make ends meet, but don't give that up, because you're on assignment. Like, that inner man is telling you to do something, and you need to do it. Like, you have persevered in your lane because you felt that this is your calling, what you need to do. You are touching souls that you don't know who you're touching. But why are you touching it? Because you're following what's in here. You always know, man, I have something in this lane. I'm going to keep following that. And a lot of people leave social issues unsolved because they never followed that. So it's very deep, serious stuff, man. I'm not saying everybody's a leader, but everybody has their thing, has their calling.
We are so in line right now.
Oh, I know.
I was going to ask you pretty much why you're doing what you're doing.
Oh, wow.
For real.
Whoa.
That's happened a few times in our discussion.
Whoa.
So, first of all, thank you for going deeper into the roots instead of trying to play with the branches.
Oh.
For real. Thank you for trying not to play with the branches, thinking that that's the depth that you need to have to build something sustainable. For going into the roots and feeding the soil, bro, and filling that ground with nutrients and minerals. Stuff that
Come on.
stuff that helps your path blossom, bro.
Right.
Which is that deeper purpose.
Right.
Because you are going deeper into the message to allow people to absorb their nutrients how they should be absorbing them.
Absolutely, man.
There's something called mycelium. Have you heard of this?
I have not.
It is the planet's internet. Okay, it's how trees and plants communicate to each other. It's the world's largest living organism. It's literally the planet's intelligent system of communication that sends signals to other trees if they need nutrients. Let's say there's a drought in somewhere and these plants need something. There will be a signal sent through this mycelium web that other plant intelligent species in the area will start to send their nutrients to help this thing sustain life. It's powerful. The roots are where we should be honing and grounding into, bro, because that builds real purpose.
Man, come on, bro.
Real purpose, dude.
Real purpose. And to go even deeper with your roots, make sure you get rid of the weeds around your roots. Because if you're having roots, or get rid of the weeds around your soil. Because if you're planting good soil, I don't need bad friends around me. I don't need bad feedback around me. I don't need negative spirits around me. And the more I take off those weeds around that great soil, then now my plant and my seed is growing in the best possible predicament and soil that it can grow in. And I think a lot of us, me and you might be a great seed, okay? But if we have awful weeds around us, people with awful spirits, and we're getting that, bro, we won't grow. We won't be the potential of where our seed can actually be.
Yeah, mold.
Right?
Mold creates more mold.
Come on.
This is a really interesting topic because I've been actually thinking about this a lot recently. So you know how they say, like, surround yourself with people who make you better, kind of ordeal. Like, you're the average of the 5 people you're around. What about the aspect of not surrounding yourself with good people, but being the good person to surround people with? It's been an interesting, okay, there's another part of that.
It is.
Of that method, where it's not just I'm going to put from my life. It's I'm actually going to be for other people.
I can be the faucet to pour into them. I can be the faucet to pour into them. Yes, that's a very good point, bro, because I think you can find the right people, but hey, if you find a person that is stable in their calling, you can pour into them to have them evolutionize into their call to being as well. So I agree with that. You can, because let me tell you this. I can't, I talk to my mentors a lot. I always like asking them questions. Hey, if you're pouring into thousands of people, millions of people, that's great. Cool. Who's pouring into you? Who's replenishing you? Because everybody like me and yourself, we're guys who typically are telling somebody else, hey, man, you can whatever, empowering them. But I know that I got to have my glass full, because I know that when I'm pouring in all these people, what happens to my cup? I get empty. I would love, brother, to hear who is pouring into Gary V's cup, who is pouring into Lewis Howes' cup, because these guys pour into billions of people, but you still need to be replenished yourself, and I think having the friends around you to tie it back to the point, having the friends around you that you can pour into to bring your level, but they can also bring you revelation. That's a powerful inner circle, dude. That is a powerful inner circle. I got you in some deep thought right now.
Yeah, you really do. Hold on. Let me breathe. Hold on.
Yeah.
Perhaps this is where, so Eastern philosophy believes that everything is alive. Mm-hmm. Everything has energy, right? Even ideas have energy. So maybe this is where we can really be fueled from proper intention, or by meditating and aligning with that deep intuition, that divine source, bro. Because it's endless. Like, love don't run out, bro.
It doesn't.
This is a really wild way to turn this back around. It's a very healthy fuel source. as to where anger isn't. Like, truly being genuine for me has been a very beautiful form of fuel. It's like that's what keeps me honed into that like homeostasis, right? And there's a lot of beautiful emotions within being genuine, feeling gratitude and gratefulness and appreciation and compassion and freaking so much honor, bro.
It removes your elitist. Anything that you might have in you that feels elitist to somebody else, it removes that. Because you're being
we
vulnerable.
aren't, bro.
Because we're not.
So we're the same.
Right, exactly.
For real.
Exactly, man.
And yeah, maybe that's a big part of it. I don't know.
Yeah. But you have me, and yeah, this is
I feel like, dude, this is literally.
Yeah, I know.
Oh man.
But one thing though I did want to add though is that's why I'm glad that's why I wanted to come on here, because I have these conversations all the time, and it's powerful to me. I think you get more revelations in these conversations than you can get in reading a book. I call that kingdom talk, and
that's cool.
And I just I appreciate being on this podcast, and number two, it's like I've been talking a lot about with my friend on our podcast. We were talking about when somebody gets successful and all that, you have your friends around you, but why is it that when most people get to a certain level of success, why do some of those friends not like that, or why do some of those friends leave and people change? It's really kind of having that discernment and wisdom again of finding who's the person who's for me and who's the person who's against me. And it's almost kind of this thing where friends and people might see you in this lane. They might see David as, oh, I'm okay with him doing this, but as soon as I see him with these group of guys, then that's not okay. And I just think it's been huge for me of always trying to find and search out guys like yourself and praying for that, and just saying, hey, continue to surround me with peaceful and godly individuals, who are on the path from the inner man. And I think when you have that, brother, like I said, my point in our last topic, when you have people around you, man, who are, I'm getting things from you today. I'm learning, I'm getting good revelation from you, but that's great, because as I'm pouring, I'm getting replenished. As I'm pouring, I'm getting replenished. As you're pouring, you're getting replenished. And I think those conversations like that, bro, when you have that tennis type of play, you're both getting new revelations. You know what I mean? Because when two people partner together, or when two people come together, talking kingdom talk, you develop an anointing that hasn't been created yet. Because you can have a power for yourself, I can have a power for myself, but when we come together, something else is created. That's why I created our podcast called The Power of Two, because now those minds are coming together, and now I'm asking you a question that you got revelation on, that you're saying, man, I didn't even think of that, which is so powerful to me. That's why I love this stuff.
Dude, that's literally why we built our podcast, is because there's a world inside of you that only you have access to. There's a world inside of me that only I have access to. And without each other's help, we will never know what's happening inside of each other's worlds. How can we come together, share insight, share input, and build new ground of meaning for us both to learn from and discover? It's like, in a weird dynamic, it's like a slinky, dude. Like, going down the steps, man, and like we're both on one end.
Come on, man.
And we're just rolling through this, dude.
Come on, man.
That's amazing. And
wow,
to
I
add,
enjoy this, man.
Bro, for real.
This is great.
This is amazing.
I know, man.
And that brings me so deep into this response. Mm-hmm. Thank you for your prayer. Thank you for your intention. Because you having an intention that you deeply embody, or as best as we possibly can, to meet people who are genuine and who are on the path, bro, that helps build people to come together. If only one person is doing that, like, what's happening?
Come on.
But now it's like boom, and it's like, oh, now we can converge and connect and build a relationship and so on and so forth, and that builds a frequency.
Come on.
And then people see that. It's just like, It's just how it
Come
works,
on,
bro.
man.
It's just how it works. So thank you for being genuine, bro.
Absolutely,
For real.
man. Likewise, bro.
Holy moly. Dude. So here's an amazing way to share some like deep recognitions for my own path is the switch into being genuine. That can be a very scary thing for some people. What if I lose my friends? What if I have to get a new job? What if I really have to change who I am and what I do? But to feel the people that I have met because that switch has happened, who actually align with my depth as a person, has made everything worthwhile.
Dude.
Like moments like this, bro, are what build deep purpose in that path. And it's like when they happen more and more, it's just without a doubt. It's just like we're doing this. I guess I'm all in, right?
Come on, bro.
Like it's just the only way to go. There's no other way, bro.
Dude, it's not. And you know what? You can tell a lot about a person by seeing the people who's pouring into him and the people who's around him and the people who's supporting him. Tell a lot about that person. Like I even with yourself, I've got this about myself, but I even saw from yourself from afar. I go, man, you know, there's a lot of people around him who have a purpose that are really pouring into this guy, who really see, man, they enjoy being around you. They're getting revelation from you, and the conversations that you guys are having with your mentors or these top influencers, etc., is they're speaking purpose, they're speaking calling, they're speaking divine stuff. And I'm saying if these people are gravitating to you, then there's something foundational there that I don't know that I haven't seen, but I know is there, And it's like you can tell a lot about an individual by that circle of people around him, the conversations that you guys are having. I mean, it's crazy how my life has morphed into this thing now where I'm having phone call conversations throughout the day like this. What did you see? What did you pray? How big are you receiving it? What's going on? Okay, cool. What can I talk to you about? What can I pray for you about? It's just divine stuff, man.
It feels like your behavior produces that. So if you were just wanting to be that way, that's a different frequency than actually being a certain way, than actually praying and putting in the work and doing the stuff. And now you're able to build a ball of energy through your behavior and through your choices and through your actions internally with the mind, internally with the heart, and externally in how we interact with the world. That builds a frequency, bro, that now people feel comfortable when they engage with it. It's like we're testing each other.
Come on.
It's like, I'm going to ask a question. How does this guy respond? Oh, it's good. Okay.
Right.
And then boom, now I know that we can communicate that way.
Right.
And then so you build that frequency even more.
Isn't that crazy? I don't mean to cut you off, but when I walked in here, it took like 5 minutes to recognize.
It did.
Do you know what I mean? Literally. Like it didn't take any time, bro.
Yeah.
It was literally just like you asked a question, I asked a question, and before we know it, we were deep quickly. And it's almost like I don't judge anybody who they don't like getting that deep, but I just know right away when I get in those conversations with certain individuals, I go, I just knew the answers I'm getting, and then it started. That frequency started. You start saying things to me, and I go, and then all of a sudden you start going to a level and a depth in the waters that you're like, wow, we're 55 feet deep now. You know what I'm saying? So, man.
Again, thank you for your faith, for your composure, for your comfort, for your ability to be curious and ask.
Absolutely.
And pay attention and listen, dude.
Absolutely.
Listen.
Man. Right.
Are we able to actually pay attention?
Right.
Or do we just want to interject our own input?
Come on.
And it feels like we're both deeply learning the last 2 hours.
Right, right, man. I know.
Like that's very beautiful.
It is. And it's what you need. And it shouldn't be a once a week thing.
Oh man, that's fuel, man.
It's fuel.
It's fuel. We don't need to end right now, but to somehow bring this plane down a little bit.
Okay.
Do you have any messages on your heart, bro, that you feel compelled to share?
It's a great question. I think the one message is that's been with me is it just goes back to connecting with your inner self, and lately, my prayer life, spiritual life has gone very deeper, very, very deep. I've gotten revelations that's just definitely supernatural. So one, I would just say my one mission, things I've been going off of is one, know the God you serve, and two, with your inner self, with your inner spirit, man, if you have a passion about something, and you're going to know what your passion is by when you check your inner self, if it's not really of the flesh, which I mean money, girls, fame. If it's not of that, but it's something very impactful, then that's probably what your calling is. And, now some of your guys' calling and purpose might require some of those things I said. It might require fame, okay? It might require a big platform. It might require a lot of money that will be poured into you. But if you're feeling something in your spirit, man, and you're feeling something in your inner self, I'm not saying, just quit and move, to Egypt. I'm saying follow that, pray about that, write it down while you're working your job, while you're, being secure in your finances. Keep pushing that purpose, because we're in this thing not for us. It's for somebody else. We're all like in this thing, in this kind of rhythm of what you're going to do. It's going to give somebody revelation to do what they're going to do. And it's just going to keep being that until the end of time. So I think don't die with something that you should have done, because it's your calling to do it. And I felt that with mine. I feel that I believe and receive that I will have a massive, vast platform. It's not because I want it. It's because I feel like I'm gonna use that to be effective, to tell people, hey, look, what he did in my life, he can do in yours. And number two, follow what's inside yourself, because it's for a purpose. It's for somebody else. So I think that's the main thing that's on my heart, and connecting with other people like yourself, man. When you have a true purpose and you know that purpose, and when you connect with somebody else who knows theirs too, it's powerful stuff. And you can learn stuff from their journey, and then get that wisdom and put it into yours too. So I would say that's my main thing. Bro. Can I put that question right back on you? Any message that you kind of want to, what's kept you on it and why you want to?
Oh, man. Yeah. May I respond to yours real quick?
Sure. Yeah.
Wow, man. You really help me recognize maybe even my own internal behavior. Or I feel like we're so related that if I'm going through something, there's probably other people going through it too.
Mm-hmm.
And vice versa. If somebody's going through something, maybe that's a reflection on what I'm going through and I don't even realize it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels like we think we need a platform or fame to produce our mission, when essentially if we just honed into the mission itself,
thank you,
all of the other components would build from that.
That's so good.
And blossom from that.
Focus on the foundation.
For real. And build your actual movement and connect with the people, and the followers are going to come. All of those things happen when they should.
Exactly.
When the energy is ready, when the infrastructure is ready for that, bro, it'll be what it should be.
Come on, man. So good.
That might be my response right now, in terms of what message I would feel compelled to share. There's such a beautiful blend from what you just shared. Is we were sharing earlier how, we've taken over 5 years to build our foundation for XPAND.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're beginning to promote with larger platforms and communities and build relationships that I've been building for multiple years.
Mm-hmm.
And now internally, our path feels very aligned with purpose and readiness. And so it's not about trying to be a certain way, but knowing when we are. And there's a very different energy there. God. And it's been, a very patient journey for multiple years. And feeling like, oh, we can go. Oh, okay, hold back. It's not, okay, hold back. Like we've been on this edge, but are you able to hone back, breathe, feel what's going on, feel the potentials? If I work with this dude, what could potentially happen from that? If I work with this dude who feels pretty aligned, what could happen from that?
Right.
And you just kind of patiently observe, and you see them do their thing. One falls out, the other dude's still going. 8 months later, 16 months later, and you're like, that dude, him.
Oh, come on.
That's who we work with.
Come on.
And then you do it, and it happens, and it was the proper move.
Right.
Because the patient being perceptive of the information and receptive of the information was done for literally moment after moment after moment.
Right.
And then you feel the people that hold gravity, bro. There's so many people that enter the game and are no longer there in 8 months. I've been doing this for 8-9 years, man.
Wow.
There's so many people that come and go, and there's an energy with it. There's an energy in how they start their process. That without judgment, it's just patiently observing the information. And they may no longer be around in 2 years. So it's being very delicate and delegating who we work with.
Come on, bro.
And having that deep discernment for real.
Right.
And holding, like, dude, you have an energy unlike other people. That's real. And that there's a lot of things that build that. And being on your path, you can connect with people who feel that way. And actually, I was going to say this earlier. Amazing, because I forgot this in my kitchen. Something that was a major change for me was no longer trying to join someone else's community, but to build our own.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
This was a deep change when I was like 19 years old, where it was so first of all, every application I've ever sent in to apply for a job has gotten declined. I've never essentially applied for a job and gotten accepted. So there was this thing like, what am I doing? Like, why don't I just build my own thing? And like bring that gravity with that intention and that purpose and allow that to build. And that's your life.
Right.
Bro. It's literally our life.
Right. It's funny you bring that up, dude, because my friend said we need to stop praying for something that we can join, somebody can get us. We should just pray for something of creating our own, creating your own platform. And it's not being selfishly. It's just let me, maybe you're not meant for that route. When we talked about maybe you're not meant for that route or that path.
It's both, though.
It is.
Because we're joining with each other.
We're joining.
Right?
Yeah.
But maybe it's an aspect of a deeper, maybe like a more human, spiritual sense. What heartbeat do we beat with?
Right. Because there could be something where, hey, your path is taking you there. And it's saying, hey, there's somebody in here who connects with your energy. You guys align in faith. There's something there. I have a plan for that.
Dude, it's so situational.
It's very situational, which goes back to discernment. And we literally could talk for 4 hours, but honestly too, and also that's when you have discernment and when you're in the Holy Spirit and when you're in discernment, you also have to learn how to cast your cares and not stress and to trust the inner man. When you cast, you're putting it above you. And then when you cast it, then you walk in your path that your inner man is telling you without any stress, without any anxiety, but you're putting your feet to faith. And when you do that, doors open. Okay. A lot of people might say, my girlfriend, she's in an entrepreneur world too. She was stressing about her clients and what's going on. What am I going to do? All that. I said, you need to cast. You need to pray. You need to cast and say, I cast all of them to you. And also believe that things are coming. That next day she did that. She got 6 clients in 40 minutes. Okay. but she unlocked, right? And it's not saying she stopped working.
Mm-hmm.
She unlocked, she casted, and she sort of followed the inner man. Once again, inner man and discernment. Inner man, discernment, and wisdom is everything. That's what everybody should be praying and meditating on every single day. It's inner man, discernment, and wisdom. You have those three things, you can learn, hey, you know what? This company reached out to me. I don't know about them, but you know what? There's something in me that's telling me, hey, there's something there. And I'll give this revelation. I mean, it's even with the company I'm working at now. I run my business, but I'm working at a business now. I got a good opportunity. It's a good job, pays well, and they allow me to do my entrepreneur things as well too, which is great. They understand that the owner's an entrepreneur. But when I first did it, I'm like, this is not me. I don't know what's going on. I feel that every now and then, but then there's something that keeps me in my inner man going, there's support here. There's blessing here. There's favor here. There's alignment here. And I'm going, but it doesn't make. Sometimes your inner man can disagree with your flesh, but follow it, because what you're looking at from flesh is temporary. So, oh my God. Oh my God, yes.
Full circle.
Full circle.
Complete full circle.
Wow.
I feel the same about Stillwater. Like, legitimately. There's support here. There's purpose here. I'm able to travel. I'm able to do my own thing as well. I meet people through that pool of knowledge, of that community. We can group together. And not, I mean, shoot, man. It's so interesting. It has to be, for me, internally, the right moment to make a move. So I wouldn't just work for anybody or work with anybody. The right opportunity came up where it fit and it worked. So for so long, for years, I wouldn't work for another company because it didn't align, bro. And that goes deep into that patience too. And then an opportunity pops up. It's like we just knew. It just made sense. And there's that discernment there as well.
Isn't it amazing, brother? When you're in the place where you're supposed to be, it's almost like things happen without your work. You know what I mean? It's amazing on when you're in path and a line of where you're supposed to be in your life. Bro, I've had things come in my life, brother, where I didn't even work for that. Don't get me wrong, I was working hard. Yeah. But I had things come in my life where they just came. And the reason they came is because I was in the right place where I was supposed to be at. And when you go to that place where, I'm supposed to be here in this season, at this time in this year, you'll walk into blessings that you said, whoa, what is this? I didn't work for this. Yeah, but you're in the right space. Things will come without toil, even though you are putting the feet to faith to work. So it's crazy. And then some people are in other areas where they're stressing and they're working hard, and they're stressing and they're working hard, and they're stressing and they're working hard. And you're like, whoa, maybe I'm not in the right situation. Now, I'm not saying if it's your process or if it's in your entrepreneurship. I've been through, toil. I've been through that. I'm talking just, we've all had those examples in life where, Stillwater, something like that. Man, it just works here. Why is it just flowing here?
Yeah, flowing. It's just
fluid.
Flowing.
It's fluid.
It's helping the process move.
Come on.
And that's where it's like we can learn to let our egos go a little bit and be like, I don't have to be completely self-sufficient right now. We can allow these forces to come together and build opportunity.
Right.
And provide something that other people benefit from.
Come on.
And I think our relationship right here is a very great example of we've been working, but not for this moment. But now we've come together and it's like, oh, okay. God. Like it just makes sense.
Right.
Other people doing their work while you do your work, and then they show up and you're in the right place and we have a podcast and you have all of the wisdom you've learned and vice versa. So we can converse and share and connect and just be where we are.
Come on, man. Come on. And it seemed like today those things went like that, right? We've both seen in our life where sometimes if you bring through individuals who are have stature in their lane, Sometimes when you bring individuals who have statures in their own lane, sometimes they go like this because it's not that they don't like each other. It's just you have two alphas, and they still are cool, but it just doesn't flow. But then when you have those things, but those two individuals have a push and pull, humble humility type of mentality from the path, it comes together. And I've had examples of both. I've done business with other guys who is just like, don't get me wrong, the guy's brilliant, it just doesn't work. I'm this guy, he's that guy. We're still cool today, it just doesn't work. You know, but I've had others where it's like, man, this guy is highly gifted and anointed in what he's doing. I am blessed in what I'm doing, but it connects. It works. We get each other. There's push and pull. There's no arrogance aligned with it, you know?
Yeah, maybe that's a really good example on what being a student and a professor at the same time actually is.
Come on.
Maybe that's what the energetic sense is, because it's like, oh, I can share this and then I'll learn a little bit. I can share this, and like we're continually in this ebb and flow of discovery.
Come on.
Instead of just trying to teach or whatever. And
right.
you got to learn to, full circle, man, listen and pay attention.
Listen and pay attention.
So many levels.
So many levels. So many levels, dude. And some of the greatest people, some of the greatest ones, they know how to listen and they know how to receive. I've seen a lot of successful people. They go, tell me about you, you know. I love having mentors or being around people where you're talking about yourself for hours. And they're pouring into you, and all of a sudden you find out, wait, this guy is a billionaire. But what a great individual! What an awesome spirit!
You're continually learning,
right? Because I've also met the other side who are they're complete pricks, you know. And they're not mentors. I just know that they get in their meetings and they talk about for 30 minutes what they did, how they sold their company.
They exist.
Yeah,
they're around.
They're around. And
you know what's crazy too is being around that makes you like, I don't want to be that way.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's like, so we get to learn wisdom through what they do.
Right.
As well.
And it comes from our experiences. Like for me, a lot of my life, I've been talented in a lot of areas, but I've also had times where I've been isolated. I've been pushed aside. I've been alienated. I've been the guy that people look over at times. And when you're looked over, when you feel worthy, when you're looked over and you know that you're talented, that really hits home. Where everybody gets this, but you didn't get it. Everybody gets scholarship, but you didn't get scholarship. You had to walk on. Everybody's going on the trip, but you can't go. And I call it divine isolation because I feel like you're getting worked on in those areas. But when you go through experience like that, you gain wisdom of treating people with respect. Because for me, it's like every time I see somebody who might be a guy who's interning, helping me intern, or might be somebody who is a quiet guy in the corner, I always have said, let me talk to that guy. Because you don't know who that guy is, and you don't know who that guy's going to be.
You've been that guy.
I've been that guy.
You've been that guy.
Right, and I've been that guy where you've been looked aside. So you got to watch out because life is a crazy thing. And in the kingdom, the janitor could be the king. And you have to really look at, hey, man, I've had so many examples, brother, of doing this to somebody. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, you know, look, okay, I'll get back to you. I look over here. And then I find out, wait, whoa, this guy's somebody? You watch who you step over, and you watch who you're talking down to.
Yeah, you never know, man.
Never.
You really never know.
Never know.
You just never know, and that's a humbling part of the journey. And to show like we are probably more equal than we recognize, and what prevents us from seeing that. And how long do you have? Do you have to leave soon?
I got like 10, 15.
Cool. So to kind of hone deeper into the aspect of like that divine isolation in a sense. So I've also been that person. I've also been the dude that didn't get picked because he was smaller or whatever, right? There's a lot of different moments in my life where that was a thing. And to encourage people to be mindful of how you're feeling during those moments is incredibly, substantially important. Do you look down on yourself now? Or can you actually build comfort in being like in the knowing of that wasn't for me?
Right.
Like we're on a different path.
Right.
And so many moments in my life, I'm so happy those never happened because they put me in deeper alignment of where I should be.
Come on.
So it's purpose, it's alignment, it's so many different components coming together, and to build composure in that. Therefore, somebody turns you down, some female you want, some anything, it doesn't bother you as much, bro. You build this composure and being able to handle adversity. And that's a deep blessing in a lot of different ways.
Really is.
Because there's so many people, and you know, everybody in some way, things are easier for them than other people.
Right.
And so you can kind of slide through and not recognize there's a struggle. And when somebody who has a lot of stuff handed to them hits those moments, there's an unfortunate response in their mental health.
Dude, it really is.
And that's a lot of our era. That's a lot of what the generations before us were kind of seeing, and us being soft or whichever. It's because we've had so much given to us in a sense that we kind of don't know how to handle things. There's a lot of interesting components there. Ice baths, bro. All the stuff.
Dude.
How do you handle adversity? How do you handle stress? Like, actually handle stress.
Myself?
In general. People, but yeah, you right now.
Honestly, man, I let go. I pray a lot. I'm in the Bible a lot. I'm reading. And also I just, well, I'll tell you the one thing is I have great individuals around me. I have great friends, man. I have tremendous I have tremendous friends, man. So I think the one thing I do is I take it to my friends who are deeply rooted in faith. You know, Casey's. My friend Faye, I take those guys and mentors, and I get poured into, which gives me a sense of peace, which gives me a sense of taking the next step. And anxiety is just you need to see what spirit you're connected onto. When you're connected to fear, that connects to a darker side. When you're connected to faith, you're connected to life, favor, blessing, abundance, infinite abundance, youth, great health, right? So I think I've just learned, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I've got this figured out. I've gotten to this place the last couple months because was huge on stressing and all that. But I just learned, where am I going to be connected to? If fear speeds my heart up and makes me stress, then faith can slow it down.
Word.
So I've just connected in those areas and really have tried to connect with my inner self of knowing when something happens to me, I don't look at it from a perspective of my past hurt. It's an issue too. Some people might look at certain things from their past experiences of where they've been hurt in those areas. And you have to look at it from a broader gauge. What do we do if you texted me and I read it and I didn't respond to you? What does your mind start doing?
Me personally? Yeah. 'Cause I'm different.
Well, I know you're different, but like the normal human starts to think he doesn't like me or he doesn't.
It's a natural response.
It's a natural response as human. So to answer your question, I just connect myself to the right spirit. And when you do that, you come from a more clear perspective and a broader and not, I would say that.
To delve deep into that, and we'll probably end on this note. How do those two worlds feel? How does that actually feel in your body when your heartbeat's going, when you're more in the fear state, you're more feeling the anxiety, the worry? How does it feel when you're connected to faith? When your heart rate slows down, bro, and your cells settle and they feel comfortable and composed and worthy and loved and patient. They're able just to be because they're strong. They're built for adaptability, man. We are so strong. How do those moments internally feel? And then how do we align better with the energies and the frequencies that produce beauty? And beauty is very subjective. But what does beauty feel for you?
Right.
How does that align with you?
Well, you know what? I think those connected to both those spirits, I feel both of them, but I lean more towards the faith one. But I think anybody listening who has trouble with finding that spirit, finding that connection, you got to connect yourself to the individuals and connect yourself to the word and connect yourself to the environment where they're connected to that spirit too. Because I'm gonna tell you this: if I wake up in the morning, I'm on social media. I'm seeing somebody who's doing great things. Then I wake up and then my alarm clock runs late. Okay, now I'm running late. Then I get a text from my girlfriend. Okay, something's going on. Then I see an email, whatever. I'm walking into the day with that spirit. You know?
Yeah.
But if I open the day and I get a scripture from my friend and I do a podcast like this and maybe I pray and I get some things organized, I'm walking into a day of power through peace. And nobody can stop me because I have a power. Nothing can phase me and come into me. You know? Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, only you need to know that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't tell you that.
Right.
Like, you have to feel that for yourself.
Come on, man.
For real.
You do.
And you have to feel that deep knowing of enduring the path.
Come on, man.
And being present in the path. Because nobody can ever show you that.
Nobody.
They can help you discover it.
Right.
And you got to put in the work.
You do.
And you got to show up at 9 a.m. for a podcast.
You do. You have to be, I call it, a knowledge crackhead. You have to be always willing to keep pushing, to keep, hey, who is this guy? Let me reach out to this man. Let me find out, let me learn about his life. Let him pour into me. Like you said, you have to be adamant. You have to be persistent on feeling that way. Because here's one last point. The natural human spirit and flesh on this earth, everybody out there has had those days where I'm positive all day, I'm speaking good things all day, great scriptures, great quotes, everything. How do you feel at the end of that day? You feel exhausted. So when I felt that one day, I had a revelation. I said, damn, if I'm exhausted by feeling positive all day, that means the natural human spirit is for us to be negative.
Wow. Because
naturally as humans, we always think if something good happens to us, we naturally think, well, this is not going to happen. There's something bound to happen, or hopefully she still likes me, or hopefully this will happen. That's our natural spirit, dude. Where when we have to be positive, we have to tap into something else to keep us flowing, to keep us going, because we're in flesh down here. We're not spiritual beings. We have to tap into that to get us there. So I got that revelation of like, wow, if it is hard for me, not hard, but if I get tired by being positive all day, which we all do, you get exhausted, that means naturally in the human spirit or in the human flesh, negativity is always there. The enemy, that darker side, wants to keep telling you, hey, that business is not going to work out for you. Hey, that girl, she doesn't really like you. Hey, that guy, he said he did that, but he's not really for. That's why it's key to have people around you, starting your day with that and staying. When you're in the flow of that, on that faith side, you can get more strengthened to where it's easier to turn down that negative side. But if you're a person who's not really diving into that faith side, man, you don't have that meditation every day, dude, it's going to be a long, tough couple of weeks or months because you're dealing with that dark side and you're dealing with your natural state of your human flesh, which is being negative. It's crazy, man.
Bro, we could talk for 4 more hours.
Literally.
But this is really important for me to share with this. It's also when we do meditate, when we do pray, when we enter those being more connected to divine, are we able to embody and embed that back into our actual behavior? So a lot of people, when they meditate, they have a good experience for the 10 minutes, but then they don't know how to cross-transfer that into their daily behavior.
Oh, that's good.
How do we bring that level of perception through, man? And that's what allows us to handle or not even pay attention to the more negative stuff.
So good.
And it's not that there's a very interesting level of strength here. Also not being afraid of the negative stuff. There's a very empowering to feel it and breathe into it. And that's how you actually dissolve it so it doesn't bother you.
Come on.
It's not just like, oh, I don't want to look at that. That's not okay. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to say positive things and not even think about it. That's like besides the point.
It's besides the point.
You got to breathe, man.
Breathe.
You got to feel it. And you got to be comfortable and composed when you don't get picked for the team. When something good happens. How do you feel in those moments?
Come on, man.
Bro.
Come on, bro. And you almost have to tell yourself when you get those negative thoughts, I cast down that thought. Those are not my thoughts. I'm a blessed individual. Great things are supposed to happen to me. You know, if you have a great job promotion, if you get a great bonus, if you sell your company for millions of dollars, the first thought shouldn't be, hope this lasts long enough. No, man, this is the beginning for me. I can't wait for what's next. I can't wait for what God has in store. You know, like, not that other side.
Bro. Dude, David. Thank you.
Absolutely, man.
Holy
that was
crap, man.
Awesome, brother.
Yeah, it was an hour and a half.
On the dot.
Pretty much.
Dude, and literally could go for like 4.
It could have. It was already an hour before.
Do I
Think
know?
about that.
Do I know? And I would be okay with that too.
Bro,
thank you, brother.
Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely, man. This is
real.
awesome.
Yeah, dang. There will be more.
Part 2.
Bro, thank you.
Absolutely.
Until next time.
Let's do it.